Hello everyone. Today we are going to take a look at how we can use Fleet Manager for Azure Kubernetes Service. So Azure Kubernetes Service Fleet Manager is a service within the class Kubernetes within the Azure, allow us to manage our Kubernetes cluster in a different options, right? So there are different capabilities in Azure Fleet Manager for Kubernetes, and today we are going to take a look at how we can use the Fleet Manager feature for multi-cluster upgrade. So before we go into the demo, we will take a look at what options do we have for Azure Kubernetes Fleet Manager, because when you talk about Kubernetes Fleet Manager in Azure, there are two fleet types available in Fleet Manager. So one of the fleet type available for us is we can create a fleet manager without a hub cluster, and we have an option of creating a fleet manager with hub cluster. So if you are creating a fleet without hub cluster, the features are very limited. That means you cannot do workload placements, manage fleet namespaces, or DNS offload balancing. Those kind of features are not available, and for running Fleet Manager without hub cluster, there are no any additional cost, because it is in there. You don't see any additional hub cluster is running. So but if you need these additional capability like hub cluster hosting, workload placements, and manage fleet namespaces, then you should use Fleet Manager with hub cluster. In there, what will happen is it will create a separate cluster called hub, and that hub cluster is responsible for managing the fleet members and the fleet clusters, right? So for your understanding, I can show you a Fleet Manager with hub cluster, because I already have an environment which I have created with Fleet Manager with hub cluster. So if I go to my Azure Kubernetes services, right, then if I click my Kubernetes clusters, then you can see that there's a cluster called hub. This is the actual fleet hub cluster, and there are some limitations in this cluster, but it is not it is running as a Kubernetes cluster, but this is not for any workload deployment. This is basically for managing your Fleet Manager and their capabilities, right? So you cannot change this name hub. By default, it is using hub as the name. And you can create hub clusters with a private cluster as well if you need private clusters, and you need to check there are some dependencies, there are some limitations when you're creating private clusters, so you need to check those limitations for private hub clusters, right? So that's very quick overview of Azure Kubernetes Fleet Manager. Next, we will take a look at the demo of deploying a Fleet Manager and do a multi-cluster upgrades. In this demo, we are going to take a look at how we can use Azure Fleet Manager's multi-cluster upgrade. So for this demo, I have already prepared the required files, bicep files, as well as deployment script. So if you want to try out the similar scenarios, right, you can use the deployment.sh in the GitHub for deploying the environment. In this environment, I will use 6 clusters which have connected to the fleet, but initially I will left one of the cluster as a standalone mode to show you how we can add a cluster into the Fleet Manager. So there are 6 clusters, 2 dev clusters, then 2 acceptor clusters and 2 production clusters. So we'll take a look at how we can upgrade these clusters through the Azure Fleet Manager. And these clusters are in different regions as well. So we have clusters in West Europe as well as North Europe as well. So to show you that you can use one Fleet Manager to upgrade clusters in different regions. So yeah, here you can see in the terminal I have already provisioned the clusters, right, to these scripts, right? So you can use the same script for provisioning the clusters as well. Now we will take a look at the clusters in the portal, right? So if you go to the Kubernetes Center, right, then under the fleets you can see the provision Fleet Manager, right? Then under the clusters also you can see the additional clusters provision through this bicep and the configurations. So if you go to the Fleet Manager, then under the overview you can see the member clusters Kubernetes version, and is there any clusters that are deprecated Kubernetes versions, and multi-cluster upgrade status as well as, and the node versions also visible in the overview. So to view the member clusters, you need to go to the member clusters in here. Here you can see the clusters that are added to the Fleet Manager. As I mentioned, here you can see only 5 clusters. I already left alone one of the cluster as a standalone to show you how we can add a cluster into the Fleet Manager. So in the member cluster page you can see the name of the cluster, that is the addition name, right? Then the membership state, then the upgrade group. We will discuss the upgrade group when you are doing the upgrades. So then the Kubernetes version and the cluster name and the state of the cluster, and as well as in the location. So in the Kubernetes version you can see I have different Kubernetes version on purpose to show you that how we can do the upgrades on different versions, right? So in the location also you can see some clusters are in West Europe, some are in North Europe. Okay, now let's take a look at how we can add a cluster into the fleet as a member cluster. You need to click the add on the member clusters, right? Then it will show you all the available clusters in your subscriptions, right? Then if you are seeing any cluster with a gray out, that means that there are few possible scenarios that can be grayed out because of. One is that if the cluster is already a member of another Fleet Manager, you cannot add a cluster to 2 different Fleet Managers, right? Then another scenario may be like a cluster is in a stop state, right? So if the cluster is in a stop state, you cannot add it as a member to the Fleet Manager. You should first start the cluster and wait until the cluster is in the running state, right? So I have one cluster which is in a running state and can be added to the Fleet Manager. So I will select the cluster, then I will click add, then I will give a name. I will delete the existing name. I will use a member, right? Then the cluster name is the actual cluster name. Then you can add it to the existing or a new upgrade group. So I will add it to the existing upgrade group because I already have a upgrade group called default, right? So you can add it to the default upgrade group, right? So then you can see other detail like resource group, location, then subscription and subscription IDs. So then I will click add, then the cluster will be added to the Fleet Manager. This will take a few minutes, so we will come back after the cluster is added. Okay, now you can see that the cluster is added to the Fleet Manager. So in the notifications you can see the cluster is successfully added, right? Then you can see it's already added here, right? So now let's take a look at how we can do a multi-cluster upgrade by using these clusters. So you have multiple clusters in dev, acceptance and production. So we will take a look at how we can do the multi-cluster upgrade. So we'll go to the multi-cluster upgrade section in the settings. Then you have different options like runs and auto upgrade profiles. That means if you want to automate the upgrade process your clusters, then you can create a auto upgrade profile, and you can use create different strategies for the upgrade purpose, right? But for this demo I will show you how we can run a manual run for upgrading the clusters. So in the manual run, it's like your one-time upgrade that you can run for multiple clusters in a stage manner. So you can have a different stage like dev, acceptance and production, and you can run it in a manual run method. And the more advanced and more automated option is auto upgrade profile. So we can configure the automatic trigger for the upgrade. Like if you want to upgrade clusters every week or every month, then you can specify the how frequent you need to upgrade your cluster. So what versions you need to upgrade, like there are many options. So I will show you in a separate demo about using auto upgrade profile. So for this I will use manual run. So I will select manual run option. Then I will create a name for this manual run. So I will use a name called manual run, and you have to remember that the run name cannot include any capital letters. It should be in lowercase, and if I using multiple words, the words has to be divided by using a dash. You cannot keep spaces. Then under the sequence, update sequence, you can have two options. One is stages and another one is one by one. So stage means you can create different stages like dev, acceptance, production. Then you can add multiple clusters into the stage. Then when the upgrade process is starting, it will upgrade the clusters as a stage. So if you have two clusters in the stage dev, then it will upgrade all the clusters in that specific stage. But if you want to do one by one, then that's also possible. So you can choose one by one option. So I will choose stages option. Then you can see in this diagram how actually the stages will work. So you have stages. Then if you want to add pauses after the stages before you start the next stage, you can do it, and you can add approvals as well to in different stages. So when you create a stages, you have to create stages in the upgrade process. So I will create a stage. Then you can give a stage name like dev, right? Then you can add stage approvers. Then here you have the option for pause after stage. That means, so for some reason, if you want to wait some time after you upgrade one of your stages, then you can use this pause after stage option to wait on a specific amount of time before proceeding to the next stage, right? So I will select it, then I will click the drop down. Then you can see there are predefined pause times, pause durations like 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, likewise. Or if you wish, if you like, you can have a custom pause duration as well. So I will select the custom pause duration. Then you need to add the duration in seconds, right? So I will put it as 300, right? That means 5 minutes. So you can see it in the bottom, it says 5 minutes. So that means after updating dev, it will wait 5 minutes to move it to the next stage, right? Then we need to include update groups, right? So update group is a set of clusters you need to include to that stage, right? So you can create your own upgrade groups as you wish, right? So then the stage will make sure that the clusters within the update groups are updated, right? So here I have a default update group, but I will not use that one. So what I'll do is I will assign an upgrade group, right click assign upgrade group. Then I will select dev clusters first. Then I will click assign upgrade group. Then if you already have existing upgrade groups, then you can select them, or otherwise you can create your own upgrade group. So new upgrade group. So I will create a new upgrade group called dev. Then I will assign those two clusters into that dev upgrade group, right? That's done. So next I will select the acceptance clusters. Then I will do the same. I will create a new upgrade group called acceptance. Then I will assign those two clusters into that update group. Then I have two remaining production clusters, so I will select those two clusters as well. Then use an update group called prod, right? Then I will assign those two clusters to the prod upgrade group. Okay, now we have assigned all of our all of clusters into different update groups, right? Then we'll click the save option, right? Then we are coming back to the stage. So in the stage, what we need to do is we need to specify which update groups should you include into this stage. So this is a development stage. Because of that, I will add a dev update group for this stage. Then I will select the dev here, dev upgrade group, and then click create the stage. Then I will create another stage for acceptance, right? Then I will put another pause duration like 300 seconds, that is 5 minutes. Then I will select the acceptance update group, but for this I will make an approval process, right? So I will click set group approvals. Then I will select set before approval. So I will name it as before approve, then click save. So that means before starting this acceptance stage, you need to approve the upgrade process, right? Okay, now I will create the acceptance, then I will create the final stage, which is prod, right? Then after the production I don't need any pause time, so because of that I will not include post duration. Then I will click the remaining update group, which is prod update group, and create the upgrade group. But before I create the upgrade group, I would make sure that I will put approval as well, because it's production. Yeah. Then click save, then click create the update stage. So you can see there's an overview here. So you can see post durations is in development you have post duration and we don't have any approvals. In acceptance you have enable approvals as well as post durations, and in the production you have enable the approvals, right? Then upgrade scope, you can specify, do you need to upgrade the entire cluster including control plane and the node pools, or if you want to upgrade only the Kubernetes version, that is control plane only, or do you need to upgrade only the node image version only, that means OS upgrades, right? So if you are selecting Kubernetes version, then you can specify the versions, right, that are supported. But here you can see very important information message saying that your lowest selected member cluster Kubernetes version is 1.32.10, chosen version 1.33 to ensure successful upgrade. Because if you upgrade directly to a very higher version, then from a very low one, then there can be some issues. Because of that, you have to make sure that you will first upgrade the closest version from the lowest available Kubernetes version. So yeah, so that's a good information. So because of that, I will go from 132 to 133 without directly upgrading to 134, right? Okay, now yeah, so I will use this Kubernetes version upgrade. Okay, that's all I think. Yeah, then I will create the run, so I can save it as a strategy, right? So let's say manual run strategy. Then what I'll do is I will click save plus run, or you don't want to save it as a strategy. If you don't want to save it as a strategy, you can select don't save and plus run, create the run. So I will make a new, save it as strategy, and I will create the run. So you can see on top, you can see it's creating the strategy and as well as the run, right? Then what you can do is you can click the manual created run, then you can click start, right? Or what you can do is you can go inside that specific run which you want to run. Then you can see there's an overview of what are the stages that are going to run, how many clusters in this specific stage, right? Here also you can click run start, then it will start to run. So what I'll do is I will click start, then the upgrade process going to start for different stages. So it's first it will check the development stage, right, because it's the first stage, right. Then if you go to the development stage, right, here you can see this is skipped. Why? Because skipping the member 01, skipping control plane upgrade, because we mentioned we need to upgrade to 10.33.0, right, but it's already have 133.5, right. Because of that, it's going to skip both of these two upgrades, right. Then it will go to the next stage, right. Let's take a look at our run, right. Anyway, it is still in a dev run stage because it will wait until the post duration. So we will come back after the post duration completed to see the next stage is upgrading. Okay, now after 5 minutes you can see that development stage is completed, right. So you can see the start time and completed time. Then before you go to the acceptance stage, they are asking for pending approval. So because we put stage approvals, because of that it will we need to first approve that specific stage. So we'll go and click the pending approval. Then I will select the approval name and select approve. After you giving the approval, it will going to start upgrading the acceptance clusters. In the acceptance also you can see the clusters are skipped because of the version, right. So we will wait until the post duration is completed, then we can take a look at the upgrading process of production. So in the production we would see really upgrading the clusters, because if you go to the production you can see you have multiple you have the lower version of the Kubernetes clusters than what we need to upgrade. So we are going to upgrade to 133, but in production clusters you see only 132 versions, right. So because of that these clusters will be upgraded anyway. Now you can see that the 5-minute post duration completed for acceptance. As I put approval process production, I had to approve the before production stage upgrade. So I will approve the stage approval. After approval is completed, you can see the clusters will be upgraded in the production stage. So if you go to the production stage clusters, you can see the state upgrade state is running, right. Then if you go to the cluster AKS cluster, then you can see the cluster is in upgrading state. Then if you go to the node pool version, you can see that it is already mentioning it is 1.33 version, and the control plane also in 1.33.0 version, right. Yeah, so if you go to the upgrades on Kubernetes cluster, you can see the cluster is in the upgrading stage. Then here you can see that it's mentioning that this cluster is part of Fleet Manager. Then you can see the Fleet Manager name, which is the part of. Okay, now we'll wait until the all the clusters within the production is upgraded, then we come back after upgradation is completed. As you can see now, one of the cluster is completed, so upgrade has completed. So it took like roughly 15 minutes, right? 13 minutes, right, for one cluster to upgrade. It depends on how many workloads that are running in your cluster and how many nodes do you have in the cluster, right? So yeah, now the second cluster is in updating process, so we'll come back after the cluster is upgraded. Now you can see that the clusters are upgraded, so all the clusters are upgraded to the latest version that we mentioned, 1.33, and everything is good, like everything is completed as expected, right? So if you go to the overview of the run, you can see that these two update groups are skipped because they include the version which is higher than what we need, but the production we had a Kubernetes version which is lower than what we expected, right? So this is a target version, right? So because of that, production clusters are upgraded. Okay, now let's take a look at the multi-cluster update overview. So here you can see the cluster upgrade is completed, right? Right. So because of this is a one-time upgrade process, you cannot rerun that process again, that step again. So that's why we need automated upgrade profiles to upgrade those clusters frequently on a schedule base, right? So we will take a look at them in a separate video. I will share that. I will do a separate video for that to explain it in detail. But for this demo, that's all for this session, this video. I think you have get an idea about how we can do multi-cluster upgrade by using manual method, right? So one-time upgrade method. So we will come back with another video from Fleet Manager. So that video will be containing the upgrade of using automated profile. So thank you very much for watching this demo and video. Please subscribe and like into the videos and share it. Thank you very much.